Durag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 19.06.18. The youth of today and their kids can have a decent future, a place where they could enjoy their lives and not be inundated with the rising seas, burned in climate change, destroyed by wars and crime and political decisions. One little decision that some powerful asshole makes can affect the rest of our freaking lives. And ladies and gentlemen, I am sick and tired of having to ride the same horrific merry-go-round. Round and around and around we go. Doing the same things over and over. What did Einstein say about that? If you do the same freaking thing over and over again and expect the same result, you're insane. And that's one of the reasons why I call my blog Memos from the Asylum, because we're living in an asylum of our own making on this beautiful planet that we're lucky to be able to live on, to have. It pains me to have to say that this creep in our White House is the most traitorous president we've ever had. He goes beyond Nixon. He's working for a foreign government. And yes, him and his campaign may have not, quote unquote, colluded with the Russians. They may have not conspired with the Russians to take the Hillary Clinton campaign down. He certainly did not discourage it. He certainly did not go to the FBI to let them know what was going on. He certainly, more than anything, encouraged them. Check out the Mueller report. So he's doing everything Putin wants him to do. And the people that are following Trump now in his re-election bid, they're supporting everything, every negative thing, every traitorous thing this creep is doing, including locking children up in cages. So these people that are now supporting this malicious, this malignant turd, this Putinian candidate, he's now going to get us into a war with Iran. And honestly, have we forgotten what happened in the Y2K zeros when this creep Bush and his group of creeps, including what we have in the Trump White House now, this Bolton creep, got us into an Iraqi war, Afghanistan war, and now Iran's next. Everything now that's going on, the conflict with Iran, is all being ginned up by Trump and his cabinet. This Bolton and Pompeo. And we must not allow them to put us into another war. Have we forgotten the financial crisis, the war crisis that crippled us in the early Y2Ks? Have we forgotten all the homes that were lost, all the lives that were lost? And we're going to do it again? When we put Obama in and he was changing things for the better, I had a little hope. But then we fell asleep. We allowed a foreign power to mess with us, an enemy. And here we are. Everything that Obama accomplished is being erased. And we're getting right back to square one, on the verge of war, with a trickle-down, dripping economics that's going to bankrupt us all. And we keep doing the same goddess damn thing over and over again. Are we going to let this creep Trump and his Pompeo and Bolton get us into war? You young people, do you want another war in your lives? Just to show you what kind of enemy we have in the White House, we have the possibility of cyber attack on this country that attacks our electric grid, that could turn off our hospitals, tore off every light in this country. Mess with the grid and the nuclear power plants. Can you imagine if Putin, this Russian, presses a button and everything in this country comes to a halt? Someone is laying at an operating table, dies because all the lights went out, even the emergency backup generators, because we don't have manual override anymore. Our intelligence people have been working on countering Russian cyber espionage. And they have made it clear that we have the capability now to do the same thing to the Russians that they're trying to do to us. I still don't believe we have the equal capability, but what I've read is that we're working very, very hard over these months to make sure that we're protected by these cyber attacks and that we can create our own. A cyber war. New kind of war. When Trump found out these agencies worked on this, he got angry. He got so pissed off because they were doing something against his boss, Putin. Our intelligence agencies were messing with his pals in Russia and messing with other authoritarians. So here's a president, quote unquote, who's supposed to protect us according to the Constitution, and is leaving us open for cyber attack. And if it wasn't for these agencies doing stuff behind his back to protect us, we'd be in worse trouble. And one of the reasons why they don't tell them is they're afraid to tell anything about what they're doing to the President of the United States, because he'll go and tell somebody else. The Russians, the enemies of our people. Young people, do you want the Russians to run our lives, to ruin our lives? Do you want Putin to be president of our country? Do you want to see the rollback on all the rights that you've worked hard for, that this country's worked hard for, that you earned, that you're supposed to live for and have for your children? Do you want Putin and his Russian scumbags running our country and running the world? Do you want to see authoritarians running wild? Do you want us in a war now with Iran? And talking about authoritarians running wild, what are you going to do on the 4th of July in the evening when this creep takes over our Independence Day and makes it his own fascist rally? What are you going to do? Well, I'm certainly not going to watch it. I'm certainly going to boycott his corruption of our July 4th. He's going to stand there, tout himself. This country does not have cult of personalities in power. This country has freedom and liberty. This country stands up to the authorities when it's necessary, when they are stomping on our rights. And young people, what I had growing up in this country, and I'm not saying it was perfect, freedom, liberty, and to be able to defy these authorities when they overstep their bounds, I want you to have it too. With the one life that we are allotted through whatever luck, because we were born, whatever random chance that we had, with the one life that we have and no other, we deserve the best, the most quality environment that we can possibly want. And the people that lead the world, they have an obligation to make sure that the only lives that we live are lived with dignity, respect, peace, wisdom, love. That's what we have to demand. Forget about the afterlife and heaven and whatever. The heaven should be here. And right now, all these sons of bitches and Trump and authoritarians and scum are giving us is hell. Demand more, young people. Demand more.